Okay, welcome to another episode of the Skift Travel Podcast. I am Rafat Ali, the CEO and founder of Skift. We are, again, I mentioned this a few times, but I'm not the regular host of the Skift Travel Podcast, but I'm moonlighting as one for the summer and talking to people that I like, talking to people that are unusual in the sense that they're doing unusual things that the travel industry should pay more attention to. And in that vein, I'm excited to have Christopher Kelsey, who's the president of Dart Interests, which is a real estate holding company based out of Dallas. Fascinating company that is not a household name, fair to say. I don't think you will take offense to it, Chris.
Oh, no, fair to say. We're super quiet. We like being under the radar, Rafat.
Yes, well, thank you for coming. And the reason I wanted him on the podcast is he and I had a conversation, I'm going to say a month ago or so, and had not heard of Dart Interests or the project that we're going to talk mostly about, which is Evermore Orlando. And when I talked to him, I found it fascinating that it is hitting on a lot of contemporary trends that Skift has been covering over the years, and it's sort of like a petri dish of all those trends come together that they're building in obviously a very high profile way, in a very high profile destination, in a very highly trafficked destination as well. So I figured I'll have conversations with him on the lessons, etc. So welcome, Chris.
Thanks. I appreciate the opportunity to be with you, Rafat.
So give people who don't know, Dart Interests comes from, I think some people of a certain vintage may have heard of Dart Container Corporation.
Indeed. The folks behind every white polystyrene cup you've ever had a cocktail out of, and the Solo Cup brand as well.
Yeah, wow. And so this is the family. I think Ken Dart is the third generation that now runs the organization. So it's a real estate holding company. Give a little bit of a primer on the.
Yeah, so the Dart family runs a large family office ecosystem. We, Dart Interests, are a small part of that. So we are the Dart family's U.S. real estate development platform.
Okay. And it's residential, commercial, and hospitality.
Yeah, and we also have some holdings in industrial as well. So, we've built some for sale condo and a relatively diverse base here.
And all across the country?
9 states, $2.5 billion worth of family money at work. So,
and you're very much in the ownership space. This is all the family money.
Yeah, we are. We're typical. Well, we're a development company. We're more typical in terms of our investment outlook. We like owning things for a long time, and we like things that generate cash. And
so this Evermore Orlando, which opened up last year in January, am I correct in that?
You're right.
And is a fascinating development, and you just happen to chance upon a piece of land, bonanza, I will, in terms of location, which is right across the street from Disney in Orlando, and where there was an existing development, an existing hotel, and you've redone it into this fascinating mix of residential, vacation rental, and hotel, and facilities are along with it that you built. So give an explanation of what the vision was. Why did you how did you chance upon such a great location that is almost guaranteed to be a hit just by the nature of the location, unless like people are soured on Disney, which obviously is not going to happen at least anytime soon.
Yeah, no, Disney's not going out of style anytime soon. No, extraordinary location. In that case, it's better to be lucky than smart. A unusual opportunity post-recession to pick that up at a relatively low basis. And absolute treasure trove of existing entitlements that allow us to do a whole lot of things. It's given us an extraordinary amount of flexibility and created the space for us to come up with this innovative product.
And so what is the product Evermore for those of people who don't know?
Yeah, so Evermore is a true destination resort that is anchored by a new Conrad. It's also got a wonderful 8-acre swimming pool in the middle of it that is an extraordinary facsimile of a beach.
Wow.
Yep, it's amazing. And then the real interesting twist to it is a new hospitality product that we call Evermore Residences, which is a blend between a traditional vacation rental experience where you're vacationing in a home with a more hotel-like approach to how we operate it.
Why do you think this was needed?
Yeah, so at the time, so 5-6 years ago, when we were in the ideation phase and the design phase, we were keenly aware that the multifamily, multi-generational travel trend was growing. We were very much aware of that being adjacent to Disney World because that's a place where large groups come together. The milestone trip with multiple, with grandpa and grandma and the kids, or multiple families coming together. And at the same time, Airbnb had taught us all about the joys of a good vacation in a home, the good parts of that. But we also knew that there were problems with that, and we recognized this white space where we thought that if we were to own and operate a residential guest experience, that we could create a vastly superior experience to renting someone's private home.
And that is more upscale. Like, what's in hotel lingo? What would that?
Where we start? Yeah, so with the Conrad's a very good co-brand against it, right? So Conrad's a luxury hotel. It very much, the Evermore residences stand up against that quite nicely. So it's in the, from a residential standpoint, it's probably it's a 5-star residential standpoint, because that's a different standard than a hotel standard, right?
Okay. And so, what's the state of the project currently?
So we opened in a year ago, and we have the first phase, which is quite large, has over 2,000 total rooms in it, between 430 in the Conrad and then 1,500 spread across the Evermore residences, which range from everything from 2 bedrooms to all the way to 11.
Mm-hmm. And so and is it like, can I go? Where do I book it? Like, if I'm just a total newbie, where would I come across Evermore?
Yeah, so the distributions, the number of platforms we're on is growing. We, of course, have evermore.com, right? That's, and we love going there because we pay no commissions.
Yeah.
But we've also, we're in a lot of the other places: Expedia, Booking, Airbnb, VRBO. We've recently struck a deal to be in Hilton Honors, which
I saw that. Yeah. That's a big deal.
We're really excited about. That's a big deal. It's the first time Hilton's ever done anything like it. So that we were honored by that.
It's the first time. I want to put a pin on it. So the first time ever that Hilton, you and I talked about this when we first talked, is the first time that they've done sort of vacation rental distribution through Hilton Honors.
Correct. Right.
Yeah, which is interesting.
And it's it's a recognition that the product's different, that it's that it has the hotel-like experience with it. And so it mitigates the challenges with an Airbnb, with renting someone's private home, like a Marriott Homes and Villas situation, because you've guaranteed consistency, you've got good security, you've got great service, and so the problems associated with renting someone's private home are gone. And then you elevate it with purpose design. So we actually designed homes that were for a vacation, not to sell to someone's family.
Yeah. So this is not timeshare element of it. Yeah. This is just pure vacation rental.
Yeah, that's the big difference, because we're just super fortunate with the Darts Capital that we were able to build something that we own and operate. So we don't sell any of it. It's very much more like a traditional hotel ownership arrangement. And then we set up our own operating company to manage that product.
Okay, you manage it yourself, yeah. Right. And so, what have you learned in the last year and a half?
A lot. We've learned that the underlying thesis is correct, right? So, when people love getting together in residential environments. And when, what you're after in that, every minute of that experience is precious, right? And you're after those joyful connections with your family and friends, and you want to take the hassle out of it. And you want that, you want to have an experience where you're getting to those magic moments that create lasting memories faster. And so everything about our product is to try to get you to that ease, to get you to that, a luxurious experience where you can really connect with family and friends.
And the audience, or the consumer, is primarily U.S. for now?
Great question. Obviously Orlando is hugely internationally based. From a marketing standpoint, as you start colonizing places, we've started in the U.S., of course. And so We're occupying most of the domestic traditional feeder markets for Orlando, but we're now in this coming year very much focused on expanding that, particularly to Brazil. And a lot of that has to do with then getting into distribution channels that service those international markets.
Yeah, yeah. And so, actually, remind me, what are the next phases coming?
The next phase is, well, we're in the process of designing the next phase. So the questions for us, Rafat, what mix of homes in terms of sizes and all that are we going to engage in? Are we going to engage in any branded residences, which is an interesting proposition? And then is there room at the resort today? There certainly will in the long run for another hotel at an even further elevated level.
Okay, so you have enough space left to.
Yes, we have over 1,100 acres and a couple thousand units of different types that we still have left to develop. So it's immense.
Remind me, what is the seasonality of Orlando? Like, I guess summer is not peak season.
Summer's peak season from a family travel standpoint, right? So we've had extraordinary occupancy over the past, since mid-June, and that will run through mid-August. Even though it's hot and it rains in the afternoons, people still go because that's when their kids are out of school.
Out of school, yeah.
Yeah, and so then obviously holidays, spring break from a domestic standpoint, and then a lot of the other the international markets pick up. I mean, that's why you want to go to South America, right? Because you're picking up summer travel in the winter. So you typically you have lower seasonality there than you have in almost every destination market.
Yeah, and so I was reading some of your copy on the site, or maybe it was one of your interviews, and you said instead of you going to the beach and trying to have a theme park experience, we brought the beach to you. And so, what was that decision?
Well, that was I personally have been following Crystal Lagoons for 20 years. And was convinced of the viability and the value of the product.
So what is Crystal? Is it a specific, what's the term specifically mean, Crystal Lagoons?
Crystal Lagoons is a technology provider that sells you the tech that allows you to build a swimming pool of enormous size.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so then you have a beach or two beaches or something?
Yeah. So, and then the other big design thought was in an Orlando market, everything there goes fast, bilges smoke, shoots fire out, is stressful, is busy. And so, a day at the theme park can be a bit of it'll wear you out, right? So the thought was, let's build the antidote to the theme park experience. Let's build a literal oasis. And so we really leaned into that beach environment, and it's been remarkably successful. And Rafat, we have a material portion of our guests who are coming to us choosing Evermore in the middle of Orlando over going to the beach, like over going to the 30A corridor or going to other southeast beaches, because you've got a beach experience that's really good, but that also it's lacking waves and creepy crawlies and animals in the water and all that stuff. So it's a very, very safe environment, and
especially for kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, are you seeing any trends of like consumption of Evermore product outside of coming for Disney, or they're intertwined forever?
No, that's what I'm trying to say is we are actually seeing it as it's something we didn't necessarily expect, but we're seeing it as a beach destination. And the other part we did expect is, we have these extraordinary large format residences. And so it's a place for family reunions. You think about Orlando with its extraordinary airlift. It's easy to get to, and then you create a great beach environment with amazing homes that are designed purposefully for the ultimate family reunion, or a great girls trip, or even executive retreats. So we are becoming a destination for those things. So it's not just the theme park.
And then I think I read that is it the flagship Hilton now in Orlando?
Flagship Conrad.
Flagship Conrad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Hilton's making a big effort to build that brand, and so we're proud to have their designation.
is the marketing, I guess the marketing of that hotel happens through Hilton channels, not through you directly.
It does, but I'm super pleased. We've generated a very productive collaborative relationship with Hilton, where we're now our marketing and distribution efforts are very much intertwined. The Conrad itself is a great group hotel, and so at the base, we're sharing facilities. We can write a single contract for a group event over the whole resort, which is a pretty amazing thing to be able to do with a brand like Hilton. We're engaged. We're working together in the overall branding of the resort. We're making sure that our websites are interconnected, and we're figuring out ways to drive, particularly the group side of the business across the resort through their channels.
Are you seeing any blending of the use cases between vacation homes and hotel rooms together?
Yes, for sure. The Evermore campus gives you everything from a luxury hotel room all the way to 11-bedroom house. And so, you think about planning a group event. There's some people that are going to be happy in the hotel, and there's some people, and then the people that want to be at home base in the big house. Yeah, so you get a lot of blend.
Just get an Indian billionaire to do their kid's wedding there, and they'll take over the whole thing.
Yeah, we're already doing that. We have that. There's one signed up coming up, so that's exactly right.
Yeah, Indian weddings will take out the whole resort.
Yeah, and the two were always meant to complement each other. We think of it's the same customer, just different use type, right? Yeah, so somebody's going to come to the Conrad for a romantic weekend, or they're coming for a group event, or whatever that is. But then they look across the lagoon and see this very unusual, in fact, unique residential offering, and they come back for that.
Hey everybody, I'm Sarah Kopit, Editor-in-Chief at Skift, and I've got to be honest with you, I am just blown away by how fast our industry is changing. AI is transforming how people book, platforms are flipping business models and consumer behavior. It is more unpredictable than ever. And that's why I am so excited for this year's Skift Global Forum happening September 16th through 18th in New York City. This year's theme jumps into the future, Travel 2030, people, platforms, and new paths forward. You'll hear from leaders at Booking Holdings, IHG, AirAsia, plus dozens more shaping the future of travel. And this year, we've got more than just stage talks. We've got expert-guided roundtables and new networking formats designed to spark real conversation so you can do real business. Expect it to be more interactive, more personal, and more valuable than ever. Join me and the rest of the industry at Skift Global Forum. Use the code PODCASTS for $800 off the full price at live.skift.com. Hope to see you there.
This concept of blending these accommodation types, are you thinking, and from a larger DART interest perspective, are you thinking about taking this concept elsewhere? How are you thinking about sort of the future growth?
Yeah, so we're like, one of the things about working for DART and Ken is there's this very strong expectation that we generate secret sauce. So we believe that the IP around the Evermore idea is secret sauce. And we think it has legs in some markets, and we're close to being at the point where we could announce one in a mountain destination. But we're a group that does not. We're never going to put the rendering out in the news claiming that we're doing it until we're fully committed.
Yeah, Ken doesn't give interviews.
No, Ken does not.
Yeah, he doesn't go on stage. You and I talked about that the first time we talked.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I guess you'll announce the mountain, and this is a U.S.-based destination.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. And the family has a lot of interest in Cayman, and I think Anguilla as well.
It does.
His historic connections to the islands, and do you think this would cross over there? So I mean, they already have existing, I think, the owners of hotels and resorts there.
Yeah. No, for sure. There's a ton of interest in this product from our sister company in the Caribbean.
That's a separate company that runs.
Yeah, well, we're all very much interconnected. There's a ton of collaboration, but we are in fact separate endeavors. There's interest there. The question there is it going to work in a market with much higher seasonality? Right. So that's the beauty of Orlando. That's the beauty of the particular mountain destination we're after is, yeah.
Is a 12-month, or at least has enough demand for over 12 months to make it work.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's not you're only busy for 4 to 6 months. It's, you need to be more like 8, 9, 10 months, right?
Yeah. And I saw that the Fort Worth library and that was relatively recent, and the parcel of land around it that you guys bought.
Relatively recent couple. We've been aggregating some land there. We bought the downtown library, and then we've also added another 5 blocks. So we now have 7 blocks entirety. We also have a large holding in downtown Salt Lake. And in both places, we're moving forward with not Evermore product, but mixed use, particularly multifamily and hotel.
Okay. Yeah. Fascinating. Fort Worth needs some product for sure.
For sure.
We know this firsthand, having looked at event spaces there for our own aviation conference that we do in Dallas, and then we also do in Fort Worth. Dallas is easier. Fort Worth is harder to find.
Yep.
Group venues compared to Dallas. So definitely looking forward to that whenever it comes on board. So what are you seeing in terms of just based on Evermore, sort of family travel trends, particularly for the summer? Are you seeing, like we're looking at obviously earnings of large companies, public companies, and everybody has said some softness, but Delta just came out this week and said we're great. And so what are the tea leaves that you're seeing?
We were all worried about it, right? Back on Liberation Day, I had to have all my private equity friends talk me off a limb, but I think we're kind of at the Doctor Strangelove stage, right? Like, how I learned to stop worrying and love the bomb. And, I think we're getting so attuned to volatility and uncertainty. And what's happened is the delay in bookings, the late bookings are it's crazy. So
that continues to happen?
Yeah, last week, a week out from the weekend, we were projecting 60% occupancy, but we ended up at 85.
Wow.
So, and that's across a couple thousand rooms, right? That's a lot of pickup in a week's time.
And so, and that is primarily domestic, vicinity based travel?
Yeah, it is.
And what is that a function of? Just distribution, just being in people's faces?
It's that. It's also, the perfection of the online marketplace where you can go look at where the weather's going to be good and go there. Right. It's all those. And then I think that people in general in this moment are are taking longer to get comfortable with making that buying decision. They're also looking for deals that are out there. So, and that's it's a challenging problem to combat because it makes it harder to run your business because how do you
project out?
That?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. What element does loyalty play? I mean, I know the Hilton Honors from that perspective, but in terms of your own repeat visitation for Evermore as a brand, how are you sort of thinking about that?
Yeah, when you're this small, obviously the Hilton thing is a huge pickup, right? So we know we needed a marriage in order to pick up, their millions of loyal followers. From our side, when you're little and you don't have a points program or you're not that stage in your growth curve yet, you really just have to put such a great experience out that they want to come back, right? So it's we just are, we're just at the stage where we're building enough of a database of our own customers where we can start marketing back to them. We're just beginning, literally just launched the first emails to previous guests 6 weeks ago. Yeah.
And how are you thinking about programming of is there any programming available in the resort?
Yeah, there's an immense amount. You have to, at one end of the spectrum with this multifamily, multi-generational travel, you got to figure out how do you entertain just about everybody in the group, right? So you got to have programming across a whole bunch of activities to provide for different interests. So we particularly try to drive our Evermore Bay, which is our big swimming pool, because that, we've got a lot of investment in that. It's an extraordinary experience. And so there's incredible activity around that. But then you have to augment that with other things that have to do with exercise and wellness and nature and, all those kinds of opportunities.
And how much are people looking for nature in Orlando? I guess you're finding out.
I think it's that that idea of the oasis, the antidote to the theme parks, has been successful for us. Our guests comment on how it's a literal shoulder drop as you drive into the resort. It's a super comfortable experience. And we, from a company standpoint, goes all the way to Mr. Dart. We really value landscape. And so, when you hire a landscape design firm, they're going to specify plants that you can buy. So in this case, we brought a great person into our team who went around all the local nurseries and brought specimen stuff in replacement for the generic stuff. And then we hired this amazing woman who was our director of horticulture, and she takes care of all the beds. And so we spend a lot of energy, effort, and resources into creating a very special environment that we think creates value, because it's just a superior, and not that every guest could put a finger on why it's better, but it's a really compelling outdoor experience.
So like a holistic, everything coming together that creates the environment for the guest.
And then you put that in on a great beach, and it becomes a very compelling.
Yeah. Have you found the talent that you needed in Orlando, or did you have to go outside? And how do you think about sort of building the talent? Because there's certainly a different proposition than the regular Orlando talent that is there.
It's a very good question, Rafat. I mean, we found a lot of great talent there for sure. We've been really lucky. And that was one of our biggest fears was, hey, we got to go hire several hundred people all at once. Actually, between Hilton's operations and Evermore Hospitality's operations, like 600 people across 6 months. So that's a big lift. Some of the specialty development roles have been harder to fill, because I think, Orlando has historically been such a commodity market, where you put up a hotel, it's a kind of generic hotel, it works because you're running people through it. And this particular use case, it's different, right? This is Orlando's only true destination resort. We're creating a unique new product. And so in some of those cases, we've had to go external to the market to bring folks that brought some extra external experience.
And the F&B experience is on the property or off property?
We have 13 F&B venues today.
Okay.
Yeah.
And these are owned by you, operated by like a third party?
Operated in part by Hilton, the parts associated with Conrad, and then the balance are operated by us. In lessons learned category where you were asking, F&B's hard.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think we've done a generally pretty darn good job. The overall concept has worked. Execution's been a little bit harder, particularly, I'm trying to figure out how not to lose money at it. And so we've got a new partnership with Let Us Entertain You out of Chicago.
Oh, yeah. We've used them in the past. Yeah. They're good.
Yeah, they're great. And so we're excited. We're just getting going with them. We're excited about that. It was a smart capitulation to say, you know what, we need help to run these restaurants.
And so in terms of what will the KPI for success be for you? Like, I'm sure you have it somewhere. These are long-term projects, as you said. These are family-owned, so you don't have the pressures that typically somebody would have in this situation. So what are the KPIs for success in 2030, for instance?
Oh, it's a couple things. One, obviously with economic return, we're focused on yield. So we're not worrying about IRR. So there's that. By 2030, at that point, we will have the other piece of success would be iterating in other destinations, right? So having a couple of those up, and then and having generated good, solid brand awareness of the Evermore residence idea. And then the other piece will be having an operating company that's fully functional, that's not only able to take care of the Evermore product we create, but operate other hotels for us within our portfolio.
And currently in US, what other hotels do you have?
In the U.S., we have Wild Dunes, which is a South Carolina resort that we have in partnership with Low Enterprises. And then we have a wonderful little hotel up in the Catskills called Urban Cowboy Lodge.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then we're in development in 2 hotels, Fort Worth, Salt Lake, and then the next mountain destination for Evermore. And then our sister company operates 9 or 10 hotels in the Caribbean.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, this is fascinating, and for those of you who are interested in more, Chris and I will have this conversation on stage at the Skift Global Forum coming up in 2 months from now, I think exactly.
Yeah.
And this is Chris's debut at the Global Forum. It's, as many of you know, it's the best. I would humbly say the best conference in the global travel industry. Chris will agree very soon.
I can't wait.
And we'll have updated version of this conversation for the crowd there, and of course we'll post it online as well. So thank you, Chris, and
thank you,
looking
Rafat.
forward to visit. I have not visited Evermore, but now potentially with my 3 kids, we probably will soon.
It's the perfect place for you, your 3 kids, and all your buddies.
As long as we can abandon them by the pool, I'm fine with it. And the beach.
Yes. Well, you're welcome anytime.
Yes. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Thanks, Chris.
All right, Rafat. Thanks a million.
Thank you for listening to the Skift Travel Podcast. Wherever you're listening, please make sure to subscribe. If you like what you're hearing, rate us 5 stars or leave us a positive review. It really helps get the word out about us, our podcast, and make sure that we can still continue to bring it to you free of charge every week.
If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification bell as well. That way you'll know every time we have a new episode.